Right, this is the latest Saturday Night Live spin-off. It may be a cultural thing with Saturday Night Live. I mean, the problem is television programmes don't generally produce great films. And Saturday Night Live has got more rotten films on its books than many television programmes. Then what happens is you get a skit from Saturday Night Live that often is a joke about something that actually doesn't travel outside of America anyway. And they think, oh, well, this skit is going all right. Let's turn it into a big movie. Anyway, so Macgruber is nominally a pastiche of MacGyver. Do you remember MacGyver?
Vaguely.
Vaguely, fine. Yeah. Okay, so vaguely. Well, I don't remember it at all. But apparently, it was a 1980s sort of cheesy, action special agent-y type thing. With and I'm gathering this from the movie. Okay, that the guy had a bad haircut and ran around being heroic. So they got
70s cop show. I think 80s. 80s. Simpsons talk.
Yes,
about
apparently Marge is a big fan of it, or Marge's sister is a big fan. That's
Patty and Selma.
So I'm going in not knowing anything about this except that it's a Saturday Night Live thing. So the deal is, there's this bloke, he's Macgruber, he's played by Will Fort, he's got a terrible feather cut haircut, they need him to do some stuff, they get him out of retirement, he doesn't want to come out of retirement, he comes out of retirement, and the baddie in this movie is Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer doing that thing that Val Kilmer now does, which is looking slightly embarrassed about the fact that this is where he's ended up. Anyway, here's a clip of Macgruber, and listen to this first, here we go.
I have a new team now. Not only do I have Vicky St. Elmo, maybe you've heard of her, but I also have one of the greatest young military minds around. I mean, this guy's the real deal, and we're gonna stop you.
Well, you certainly have a healthy imagination, Macgruber, but I don't know anything about a warhead.
You're lying.
Would you show Mr. Macgruber the door?
Let me tell you how this is gonna go down. First, I'm gonna kick you in the chin, breaking your jaw in 4 places. I'm gonna take you and karate flip you over my back and then knee your nose into your brain, killing you instantly. I do want to get a throat rip in here. Think that's gonna be you, small fry. Who's first? You did not just do that. That is a blood fund! You owe me a blood fund!
So the gag is, after he says he's going to do all the stuff, they throw him through a glass window, and then they throw his car cassette radio 8-track thing after him, because it's a period gag. The period gag being that, you used to have to take the thing out of the car. And I'm watching this and I'm going, well, firstly, this is making me feel give me a terrible yearning for Will Ferrell to come and do this sort of stuff properly. Secondly, it's making me remember just how good Starsky and Hutch, the pastiche movie, was, because that was one of the very few occasions in which they took a period cop show and did a version of it that was genuinely quite funny. I mean, it ran out of steam, but it was genuinely funny. You remember that? You remember the Starsky and Hutch movie? Yeah. There were, more gags in it than you expected. But more to the point, why is a movie that's so full of itself and so pleased with itself and so sort of, fond of its own self-referential humour, why is it so staggeringly unfunny? Is it, on the one hand, that it's just badly written, which it is it on the second hand that the humour is played so broadly that honestly it's like opera, it's like they're shouting and telegraphing you could hear that joke, I imagine, coming from the beginning of that thing. He said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then no, the joke is they're going to throw you through a window. So it's like every joke is arriving like a cross-channel ferry, honking and squawking and squonking and, turning round really slowly, and then the punchline arrives. There's an old maxim that repetition is a form of comedy, but you know what? Repetition is only a form of comedy up to a certain point. And the third thing is that
what was the second thing?
That it's also clumsily done.
Right,
the third thing is
bad
that
script, clumsily done.
That
Number 3.
There's a level of crass coarseness about the humour which made me really depressed, because in order for crass coarseness to be funny, it actually has to have something below the crass coarseness. Vulgarity is fine if it's intelligent vulgarity, but just vulgarity itself is just vulgar. And I'm sitting there watching Macgruber thinking, and it's a long time since I've actually felt this, thinking, this is just vulgar. Not in any good way vulgar. It's just vulgar and stupid and boring and badly played and loud and shouty and making a joke of a television programme which I don't remember the first time round, aren't interested in the second time round, a spin-off of a television show which I have long thought has overstayed its welcome in the cinema and should get out of the cinema and back onto the small screen where it belongs, by a bunch of people who every time they yelled cut, threw their arms around each other and congratulated themselves on just how funny they'd all been. Well, everyone except Val Kilmer, who does the whole movie with the look of a man who really, really, really wishes he was doing something else. There's a Doors documentary coming out in a couple of weeks' time. Imagine that. The Doors documentary will be in the cinema at the same time as Macgruber. Val Kilmer, the man who once wowed in Oliver Stone's The Doors tagline, "No one here gets out awake," is now playing the villain in a third-rate Saturday Night Live spin-off. That's how bad it is.
Can we comment about the fact that in the top 10, nay, the 15, there is no Macgruber?
Yeah, no, there is
nothing.
There is.
Absolutely
Macgruber hasn't
nothing.
got it. In fact, I was looking at the article about what's happened with the top 10, which is written by Charles Gant, because he writes a regular piece about the top 10, and it says in the in the also rans that in fact the Macgruber took on 1,000 screens less money than Please Give took on 500 screens, which is one, because Macgruber is a terrible film. It's totally rubbish, but I did expect when I saw it that it might take some money, but it hasn't. It's been trashed by a small art house movie with proper intelligent characters that talk like real human people. It's great.